Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back for episode 2 of my modded survival island. Today I want to start working on our ore doubling system. Now, we have about 156 mods installed right now, and about 150 of them add some kind of ore doubling mechanic, so it was kind of hard to decide which one I wanted to go with, but in the end, I decided to go with one that I'd never used before, and that is the ore doubling system from Immersive Engineering. So Immersive Engineering is a relatively new mod. It came out within the last few months, and it adds an ore doubling machine called the Crusher, which you actually have to physically drop items into. So you have to like drop them into the top. There's no like interface, no GUI, and then it will crush them up. It has a really cool looking animation, and then it spits them out, and you can like have them go into a chest, or you can have them drop onto conveyor belts, all kinds of cool stuff. So that is what we're going to make today. To start, we're going to make the engineer's manual, because the Crusher is a multi-block, and I have a terrible memory, so I have no idea what the recipe or the layout is of the multi-block. So we're going to make the engineer's manual. This is going to tell us what the layout is and all the stuff we need. And also, it's really easy to make. It is a lever and a book, which is of course made either using some paper, some string, and some blank patterns if you use the Tinker's Construct recipe, or using 3 paper and a leather. And because we have this little guy over here, look at this little guy, we can just go ahead and let's grab, should we try and shoot on with a bow? I never use bows. Let's try and use a bow here. Where you at? I did a bit more mining, by the way, between this episode, and if we have a look in this chest, that was a complete waste, but we did get it back. You can see I have quite a lot of ores here. I went mostly for copper and iron, because we need a lot of those for what I want to set up today, and I have gone ahead and smelted most of that up, although I think we're going to need a little bit more of all of them before the end of the episode. And I did notice, look at this guy, he's like, no, I heard he's going to shoot us, run. I did notice a lot of cows had started making their way down into the... Oh, that was not good. A lot of cows had started to make their way down into the mine, so... where the heck... And also a lot of trees have grown since the end of last episode. Where the heck have all my cows gone? Are you guys still down here? What the heck is going on? We had like 50 cows at the beginning of last episode, and now we have like no visible cows. Where are you? Where are you at? I spent quite a bit of time down in these mines, so I know my way around fairly well. I can hear a cow. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this guy inspecting the coal. Get out of here. Get out of here. There's our leather. All right. I believe we have some sugarcane back up on the surface. Here we go. Let's just grab a little bit of you. Thank you very much. And that should be everything we need to make the engineer's manual, which is basically a little how-to guide for everything to do with immersive engineering. So we will throw you there. We will grab ourselves. We don't have a lever, but we can go ahead and very easily make one with, of course, a stick and some cobblestone. And then if we combine those up like so, we get ourselves the engineer's manual. So if we take a look in here, under tools and machinery, we see the Crusher. The Crusher, keep your hands out. The Crusher can actually kill us, by the way, but if we press stop, we can actually look at each level of the multi-block by itself, and this thing is fairly expensive. As far as ore doubling systems go, especially early game ones, this one is pretty expensive. It requires a lot of steel. Now, there are multiple ways to make steel, and Immersive Engineering actually has a way to make steel built in. However, I really don't like the way that you have to make steel with Immersive Engineering. It involves making a coke oven and waiting like flipping forever for the iron to smelt into coal coke, and it takes forever, and I don't like it. So instead, we're going to use the mechanism way of generating steel, and that is using the metallurgic infuser. This little guy over here, who is very easy to make, and is the main reason why I have one piece of osmium just sitting around in that chest. So let's go ahead and grab 8 cobblestone. Actually, let's go ahead and grab 16 cobblestone so we can make 2 furnaces. Or ferni, whichever you prefer. Then we'll grab some iron, some redstone, and we should be good to go. So, moment of truth, let's go ahead and make 2 of you, and then 2 of you. By the way, holding shift and left click, I always get people asking me what this is, but if you hold shift and left click on this little question mark here in NEI when you click on a recipe, and you have all of the items that you need to make it in your inventory, it will automatically take the things out of your inventory, put them in the crafting table, and you don't have to move them in. It's just a nice little way of crafting faster, but we'll go ahead and take you. And now, we don't currently have much of a base going on, and eventually I do plan to kind of expand outwards and build little islands balance for all kinds of stuff. But for now, let's just go ahead and kind of put this, like, here, maybe? This thing, of course, does require power in order to run, and again, like, a bunch of mods add early game generators and stuff that we can use to generate RF, but one that I've never used before is Progressive Automations Generator, so I thought we would go ahead and make that one today. So if I go ahead and type in generator, down here, right at the bottom, we have the wooden, the stone, the iron, and the diamond generator. I'm going to make the iron generator. This one produces about 80 redstone flux per tick, I think exactly 80 redstone flux per tick, and it's not all that hard to make. It is simply a fair bit of iron with a stone generator, which is just a bunch of stone with a wooden generator, which is just a bunch of wood with a block of redstone and an RF engine, which is some gold, some iron, and some more redstone. So now, we are going to need a lot of redstone, like an awful lot of redstone, to make this work, and also a fair bit of oak. Now, we do have a fair bit of oak, and we do have 60 redstone. Now, let me have a look here. We need 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of redstone. I think we should be fine, but we're cutting it a little bit close on the amount of redstone that we have. We've just gone from, like, over a stack to 24 in not a very long amount of time. So, let me go ahead and grab all of you. Let's make ourselves a furnace. Then let's go ahead and make ourselves a wooden generator once we've gone ahead and made ourselves one of these. Once we've gone ahead and gotten this gold, there we go. Let's make one of you. And I do realize that we're going to need quite a bit more gold, so I am going to... Oh, are we missing one? Are we missing 1 gold? We need 2 for this and 2 for this. Actually, no, we're not. We need 4. We have 1 extra. Woo! I thought we were going to be flipping one shy of everything we needed. That would be absolutely horrible. Let's go ahead and do something like this. One caveat, I guess, to the whole shift left clicking thing over here is if one of the items in your crafting recipe is something like the RF engine, something that doesn't stack, then it won't work. You have to put those in manually, so things like pickaxes, really any kind of tool or armor, anything that won't stack won't shift click in, and neither will any of the other stuff. So it's a bit of a pain, but it's not all too bad. Let's go and make another one of these. And then we can make ourselves a stone generator once we've smelted up a little bit of stone. I think 4 should be enough. Yeah, and then we should be good to go. And a little while later, we now have ourselves an iron generator, so if I was to go ahead and stick this down right next to our metallurgic infuser, and I was to go ahead and throw some kind of fuel in there, we could use things like wood and sticks, but instead I'm going to go ahead and use a bit of our coal, because we do have a fair bit of it, and it's fairly easy to come by, and it also works the best and lasts the longest, and now it's producing 80 redstone flux per tick, and transferring it instantly over to our metallurgic infuser, which is now full of power. Nice! So, the next thing we have to do is start making steel. So, if we were to go ahead and take another look inside the engineer's manual, and we hover over this question mark, it tells us that we need 10 steel scaffolding, 11 light engineering blocks, 8 steel fence, and 9 hoppers. Every single one of those requires iron, and if we go ahead and type in immersive engineering again and look over here, you can see the light engineering block requires quite a lot of iron. To make 2, you need 1, 2, 3, 4... And then this little guy over here, we need 2 of these, so that's 8 more. We need 12 iron per 2, which is 6 per 1. And then I think we needed, what, 11? So we need like 66 iron just to make the light engineering blocks, or 66, iron to make the light engineering blocks. And then to make the steel scaffolding and steel fence, we need quite a bit of steel, and steel fence is just a bunch of steel. And the way we make that is simply by throwing some coal, which I will just take from here, into this left slot. And then putting some iron in here. That's going to go ahead and process it up, and we will get back, I think, iron, like, compound? If I'm not mistaken, something like that, and then I think we have to put it through again in order to get steel. It's a bit of a hassle. Yeah, we get this enriched iron, which then, if we go ahead and put through again with some more coal, will turn into steel dust, which we can then smelt into actual steel. So, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go where I am currently smelting up some more iron, because I think we actually don't have enough to make everything that we need. Actually, I know we don't, because we just figured out that we need 66 to make all of the light engineering blocks. So, I'm going to go where I'm going to mine some more iron. I'm going to try and make all of the steel that we need, get all the other materials and stuff that we need to make the crusher, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so a little while later, I don't quite have everything we need yet to make the crusher, but I'm going to quickly make this little guy up here, the quartz grindstone. This thing is really easy to make, and it gives us a nice early game way of manually doubling all our ores. And the reason I'm making this mainly is because I've got 54 iron right now. We need at least a stack just to make the engineering blocks, and then we're going to need even more to turn into steel and all kinds of stuff like like that. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make myself the grindstone, like so. We're going to make also this little guy over here, the wooden crook. And if I was to go ahead and throw this down like here, shift right click this guy into the top and then throw my iron into the grindstone and start manually grinding away. What this is going to do is it's going to turn every single one of our iron ores into 2 iron dust, which we can then smelt into 2 iron ingots, effectively doubling all of our ores and meaning that we don't have to do anywhere near as much mining to get all of the iron for this process. So again, I'm going to sit here for probably like 10 straight minutes while all this stuff grinds down from iron ore into iron dust. I also might do it with a little bit of copper as well if we need it. And I'll be back in a second. And quite a long while later, we should now have everything it takes to go ahead and make ourselves a crusher. So, I think I've got everything I need out of those guys. Let's make sure we have some iron, some redstone, and some steel, as well as a little bit of copper. And I think we should be pretty much good to go. So I'm going to go back over to Immersive Engineering. Like so. We're going to make ourselves 11 of these light engineering blocks, which means we need 22 of these guys, I think. Or do we need... No. No, we don't. One of these, one iron mechanical component equals one of these. And we only need 11 of these, so we're going to need 12 of those. Good thing I didn't make 22. That would have wasted far too much of our iron. Let's try that again by doing something like that. That gets us 12 of those, which I believe is one more than we actually need. It is. We're then going to need some steel scaffolding and steel fence, which actually used way less steel than I thought it was going to use, because we don't need that many steel fence. And the steel scaffolding is actually really easy to make, and we do in fact need 2 of those, like so. And we only need 9 steel fence in total. And then the final piece of the puzzle is to go ahead and make ourselves all of the hoppers, which do of course require a bunch of chests. We need 5 of those, so we have a little bit short, but thanks to our trusty old friend Tree Capitator and this iron axe, we can go ahead and grab all of our wood fairly easily. A little bit of tree cutting later, and we finally have what it takes to make all 9 of the hoppers, which uses exactly all of our iron. So I think we're actually completely out now, which is not great, because I did have plans to make one more thing with our iron today. I might have to go ahead and do a little bit more mining if I want to make that happen. I think I need 1 more iron, which is actually incredibly infuriating, but for now, what we can go ahead and do is we can set up the crusher. So, where do I want to put this? Again, I'm not going to leave it wherever I put it right now. I'm probably going to go ahead and move it between episodes, or at least at some point in the near future, to somewhere a little bit more, shall we say, less horrible on the eyes. But for now, let's put it like here, maybe? Sure, let's put it right here. So, let's take a quick look in this little guy. Let's go right down to the bottom here. So, we need 2 full ones, and then a gap, then another full one, and then, okay, I think I've got this. So, we're gonna have, we'll do it here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I then think we need 1, 2, 3, 3 light engineering blocks, and then, was it like 2 and 1? I think? Maybe? No, it was 2 and 1, but the other way around, if that makes any sense. And also, we do not have enough flipping iron to make another pickaxe. Can we make a steel pickaxe? We cannot. However, we can go ahead and make ourselves a quartz pickaxe, which is just as good as an iron pickaxe. So because we don't have any iron, I will go ahead and make myself one of those. So, let's get rid of this guy. Let's throw down to the light engineering block, and then let's take a look at level 2, which I think is actually a little bit easier. Level 2 is 3 of these on one side, so 3 of these like right there. I then think it was 2, 1, and then iron all around. If I'm not mistaken, iron fences all around. Yes, that is exactly right. So we'll take the steel fences, and we will throw those down like so. And then I think all we need to do to wrap this up is simply put all of the hoppers on top. We are going to need what's known as an engineer's wrench, because if we do this, and that is not at all right, let me make sure that, I don't think that matters, but I want the hopper to be there. What we need, and you'll notice it doesn't automatically form into a multi-block. What we need is a wrench. I think it's called the engineer's wrench, or the engineer's hammer, sorry, this little guy over here, which is made using 2 iron, 2 sticks, and a string. So, let's quickly go find it. Little bit more iron. And now with a little bit more iron, we can go ahead and make ourselves the engineer's hammer, which we can then use to simply right click this multi-block on a certain side, that being one of these sides, and it might be a shift right click Or maybe these hoppers just have to be empty. I don't think that's the case. Okay, let's read the book. I'm fairly certain we have this almost right. 3, yep. 2, yep. Right, I think this is on the wrong side. I think this needs to be over here on the back. And I think this needs to be on the front. So let's take you, and then let's put you over here. Is that right? It is! There we go. That gets us the crusher. And this is the multi-block that I was talking about. So, the way this works is, first of all, as always, it needs power. So, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this guy over here. We'll probably just move our metallurgic infuser to wherever I end up moving this guy to, so they can all share the power of the iron generator. But for now, if we put this, I believe here, I think this is the power tap, although it might actually be on the front. Yeah, no, it's actually there. Let's pick this guy back up, and then let's put him down over here, like so. And if we were to go ahead and throw some fuel in there, like some wood, it generates 80 hour of a tick, and you can see this thing should start to fill up with power, and it's not transferring, and that is not a good thing. We might have to make some form of conduits, or it might just be a case that this guy cannot output from the bottom, although that would be very odd indeed. Okay, so I'm not quite sure why the redstone flux from the iron generator isn't passing through directly to the crusher here, but what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and make ourselves some leadstone flux ducts. These are the most basic of energy carrying devices, very easy to make, just some lead, some glass, and some redstone. These things can carry up to 200 redstone flux per tick, so more than enough for the generator that we have. And if we were to go ahead and say put this guy down, let me just jump up here, about here, fill him up with some fuel, and then go ahead and stick this down right there. Now, if you're looking well, you can see this thing is definitely up and running. For some reason, it had some wood in it. I'm not quite sure what the machine does with wood. Oh, apparently it turns it into sawdust. Okay, so if you put wood through this thing, that's oak logs, it turns it into sawdust. If we were to go ahead and throw something like some copper ore from Industrial Craft here into the crusher, like so, you'll see it notices that the copper ore has been thrown onto it. It will grind it all up, and it will spit out 2 copper dust. I think this thing is really, really cool. If we put a chest here, it will throw all of the dust into the chest. And finally, I want to actually be able to automate this. I don't want to have to just throw all my ores into the crusher, because I think it can only handle so many at a time. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to make another chest, and we're going to set up a little system that takes things from this chest here, which is going to become the chest that holds all of our ores, and deposits all the stuff from inside this chest into the crusher one at a time to be ground down and thrown out. Be careful not to stand in the crusher, by the way. If you stand in it, it will start to crush you up and you will eventually die, and that is not a good thing. So I'm going to put a chest there. We're then going to use some wooden transport pipes, just like we did last episode. I've gone ahead and made myself a redstone engine. We're going to put that, I think, I kind of want to put it on top. I kind of want to be able to see it move up and down and see all the items move through the pipes. For now, does it need a pickaxe? Apparently it does. Let's take that. Let's try and... Oh, come on. There we go. Let me jump up here. Very careful not to fall in. Let's throw you there. Lever on top. Flick this thing on. I think I'm going to put one more pipe here just so that... Actually, you know what we'll do? Actually, no. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And I'm actually going to change this just a little bit. I'm going to move this chest one further back. And we're going to use the conveyor belts added by Immersive Engineering. So we're going to put the chest here, like so. We're going to stick to our original plan of having pipes here with a redstone engine on top, like so, ready to pump things out of that chest. And then we're going to have all that stuff there land, hopefully on conveyor belts. Now, one thing I have to wonder is if we can cover up this guy right here, and also if I can put conveyor belts on top of a generator. I'm not sure if we can. So the way you make conveyor belts is real easy. It's just 3 leather, 2 iron, and a redstone. That gets us 8 conveyor belts. Now the question is, can I put these conveyor belts on top of here? I can. That is actually kind of fantastic. Now, the next question is, I gotta be real careful with this, is can I put them on top of the leadstone flux duct? I assume not by default. I can. What the heck? I thought I'd have to put some kind of facade or cover on there, but that actually works just right out of the gate. So, we're gonna put, is this the right way around? It is not. It is not at all the right way around. So, we're going to instead put them down the other way around, like that, so that all of the stuff that gets dropped out from this guy should end up rolling forward into this machine. Now, I kind of want to put something that's not cobblestone right here, but I think for now I'll just go with cobblestone because it's what we have. We'll put that there, and now if I was to throw something like an ore into that setup, I think it would go ahead and pull them out one at a time. You'll see every time the engine pumps, it pulls an item out. It should pull them out one at a time, send them through, drop it onto the conveyor belt, and then plop it on into the generator, into the crusher. Look at this. Look at this little setup we've got. I might end up moving this back one because the pipes here are a little crazy in the way that they drop items all over the place. Sometimes they kind of throw them out on an angle. So I might move it back one and add another line of conveyor belts because we do have quite a few spare. But this seems to be working quite well, and we are getting flipping ores for days, which is absolutely fantastic. There is one more little feature of the crusher. If we go ahead and grab one more lever, you can manually turn this thing on and off simply by applying a redstone signal to this thing here, like so. It stops. Not quite sure I would want it to stop while it has stuff in it that can grind up, but if you ever wanted to, that is how you can do it. I think it does have some kind of internal buffer that's allowing it to store all of those ores that have been dropped, but all we have to do now, guys, whenever we want anything to be doubled is, first of all, dump all of our inventory away because I want to get rid of all that stuff, is just grab all of our stuff and just throw pretty much all of them into here. I think there are going to be a few things that cannot be doubled in the crusher, but for the most part, everything should be fine. I know that tin will, silver will, lead will, copper will, cinnabar probably won't. Uranium and yellorium. Uranium will probably turn into yellorium. Tin definitely will. And then we have things like bauxite, which I'm not quite sure about, and ferrous, which will probably turn into nickel. But everything here should work pretty much perfectly. As you can see, everything is being nicely turned into dust. So yeah, this is our setup, guys. I think it is maybe working. I'm a little dubious. I'm actually going to turn this off for a second and check some stuff out because I'm a little scared that it might have just got rid of some of our... Oh no, the copper's still coming through. I was worried that maybe the copper had not come through because we put some other stuff in, because I know for a fact we put half a stack in there, and I was waiting to see if we'd get 64 back, but it seems like we have in fact got it, so this thing does have some kind of internal buffer and should be good to process all of our ores for the near future. All we need to do now, guys, is come up with a way to actually smelt those ores automatically and have them go to another chest, probably over here somewhere, and we will have a fully automated doubling and smelting system. But for now, guys, I'm going to end this episode of my modded survival island there. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit like. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.